Welcome to the basically day 1 or 2, breaking the weight plateau. Today we're gonna talk about we'll try to simplify why it's so hard to get results over 40. And I'm saying I'm trying to simplify because throughout the years we try to really explain why people cannot get results, and only for having people more confused than ever. And I realized that and this was one thing that differentiate me from most of my colleagues or coaches, is that while a lot of coaches wants to show off how smart they are, or how the reality between science and so forth, the reality is that knowing exactly what's going on is not necessarily going to help you unless you um, really find something that works for you. So today we're going to oversimplify things, and you might feel like, okay, you know what, this doesn't make any sense, or this is not what I've been told, or whatever you've been told before. This is why I try to go on diets after diets. Well, I'm going to tell you that probably for 99.8% of people, what we're going to talk about today is relevant, or better say, it's really what you're going to need for the most part. Okay, so let's dive into what we did ever since today. Today a poll came out, and one thing I wanted to observe is, yesterday I said, how many times did you diet? And there was obviously a lot of people dieting, several times. Today, I ask you, what kind of diet did you do? And I also gave you the option to put in some extra things, right? Some of you put detox, master cleanse, and I'm assuming that most of these things are more or less the same. Yesterday we said that all diets work on the sense same, like unless you don't work. And like I said, I said it as well. All the program works until you guys don't make it work, or until you don't work. And essentially, it's not like saying that there is an issue. Some might have a physiological issue. For most of people, it's really a psychological issue. And when I say psychological, I don't mean like you guys are dumb. It's just simply that you cannot understand the simplicity of consistency, or you simply choose a strategy that doesn't reflect what you need to do, right? Some said, let me actually test it. Again, don't take it like I'm insulting everybody or not, but look at that. For example, when you do low carb, when you do keto, that's one thing of low carb. Let's see, there's a bunch of people here, right? And again, the pattern is simple. Whoever did this diet also did this diet. I want to show you today why the problem is about. But if you did keto and then it doesn't work, and you try Atkins, which is basically almost the same thing, that's kind of problematic, because essentially you got fooled twice. Somebody told you that low carb were the problem, and somebody else told you that then you just buy into the idea that as long as you do something slightly different, it's going to work. And of course, all the testimonial of people doing it doesn't really work. But essentially, the problem is that I've been talking with some of you, and obviously some of you are also clients, and we've been asking, what is it that really get you to fail when you do a diet? And you get to the conclusion that it's sustainability, right? We were before on the phone, and I wanted to show you this. And again, I'm not necessarily gonna say we was, but I just wanted to I researched a diet that she said she did. And look at that. This is just again, I don't like to put attention on what this is, but it's doesn't fucking look like you can follow this. There is 10,000 rules only to start. Detox did. It's much simple as just saying, just go and do a shake diet. It's much easier to do that than just looking at all these rules, right? Because the reality is that over 40, and we'll dive deep into what it is, right? Over 40, there is this idea that there is problems going on, like your metabolism doesn't work as good as it used to be, age and all that stuff, right? But before we do that, and again, I see now that I was waiting until people, if there was anybody else that comes in. But anyway, it doesn't look like there is. And if you're watching a replay, based on what you did in the past, based if you were in the kickoff call, because some of you said, I cannot be in this call, but I was in the kickoff call. So that's of course still okay. You can still message me. But tonight I'm giving you this, this form. This form is basically for people that is not yet client. Therefore, you do not have essentially the access to the app. And some of you said, I want to just do the challenge and then maybe I love it and I want to keep the app or whatever. So this form is simple for me to see how many times do you work out in a week? What is it that you like to eat? Whatever, because we'll see that tonight is all about consistency and making team different as always. But right now I'm posting this thing inside the chat, okay? So please do save this link and fill this link by tomorrow. If you are a client, you already have the access to the app. Therefore, you don't need to do it. We'll basically, I'll basically just touch base based on what you do. But if you're not having access to this, please do click on this thing and again, take action and fill it by tomorrow, because this is gonna give me like you'll receive exactly the app and everything. Again, you're gonna have all the links to, like I'm gonna have videos to show you how to do it. But basically, this is kind of the first step, because we're gonna give you this for these 21 days, the access to all the technology that we can support you with, so that we can kind of like make things different. Now, there is gonna be some things to do, of course, right? But before we do that, I wanna ask you this question. And I'd love for you to, to give me some answers, because hopefully at the end of the day, we're gonna have some Q&A, but chances are you're gonna answer to most of this question by yourself, by your reasoning, right? So in your opinion, and I kind of already hinted, but why do you guys think diets don't work? What's the problem with dieting? You can type any answer inside the chat, and I'd love for you to interact, because I'm telling you, if you don't convince yourself about these things, then it's gonna be hard, even after 20 days. Why don't you guys think diets don't work? Okay. Cannot be sustained. That's great. Anybody else want to take a guess? You can also unmute yourself and just say it if you feel like you have the answer. Nobody else? Inability to continue. Yeah. For the most part, those are the answers. Okay, let's get... Some people seems to really struggle coming in Zoom and then they come out. Cravings, yes. Very good cravings. Yeah, and seems like too many rules. That's exactly what it is. Commitment, yes. So you all kind of nail it at some point. Okay, so it has to do with lack of motivation, and again, you need to start, like, again, you can diet, but then coming out of the diet. All these things are true, right? But essentially today I want to tell you why diets don't work for you. And what I mean you is like people over 40, this label that you just condition yourself to feel that you have, right? And to a sense, is because they're not sustainable, but also because there are changes in the body, right? And this is true, okay? And I wanted to give you what is real today. Okay, there are changes going on. There is age. Obviously, you decrease metabolism 1% each year. Each year. Then there is ghrelin and a hormone and estrogen. And again, for those of you that there are moms that are 2 pregnancies or more, you'll see this thing changing. Muscle mass is a huge component, right? If you have less muscle, or if you're like men are more muscular than women, you're going to have automatically more kind of like differences, right? And again, up to 15% in genetical factor. Yeah, but if you have a 3,000 calorie TDEE, like let's say you have a 3,000 maintenance calorie, which we're gonna see later what it is, it's only about 15%, and which is less than a meal. So again, there is a lot of things you can do, right? Now, today I want to teach you a little bit. We're not going to dive deep into this because I said I was going to make it simple, okay? And again, this is the complicated portion. The dieting part is going to be a lot easier. This is basically what metabolism or total daily need expenditure, because I'm explaining what it is because we need to calculate it. It's about, right? And again, there is a metabolic rate basal, which is BMR, which is basically something you don't really get to change. And then there is NEAT, which is non-exercise thermogenesis, like moving around, fidgeting. And then, of course, also which is like walking and moving and swimming, whatever. And this is the one thing that you can change the most. Then there is the thermic effect of food, okay? And going back to this, to make it understand easily, is that this is why when you eat protein, you feel a lot of messaging, like marketing stuff saying, oh, let's boost your metabolism. Keto boosts your metabolism. High protein boosts your metabolism. Because you basically need some energy to digest this thing versus carb and fat, which is carb has 10% or 5%, and then fat only has 3%. This is why when you eat fat, most of the time you actually put on fat. And this is the truth. And for those that said, no, keto, I lose the fat, yeah, great, but you're in a very huge calorie deficit. Okay? Going back to this, then we have exercise. And this is why exercising 5 times a week doesn't really make you any more skinny unless you don't do everything else correctly as well. We just made this example. We have Cecilia, which is a girl that you can find in the group. I'll post about her, that she lost a bunch of weight and she competed in the very first bodybuilding contest as a natural over 45, and she got second place even without experience. Okay, so what made her have why could she eat 27 to 3,000 calories almost every day? Is because her BMR was this. She did a lot of movement, right? And we said that this can change. Then the thermic effect of food, and then she had exercise. And again, we cannot make this any smaller, but this is not really, let me just show you. This is probably like this. She was working out 3 to 5 times a week. Then we have little old me. I'm close to 90 kilos, and there is the BMR. My NEAT is not nearly as big as it should be. So I don't move that much. I don't walk 10,000 steps a day. My thermic effect of food is going to be a little bit more than hers because simply I'm a man. And then there is the exercise. And again, lately it's been 3 times, 4 times per week, but I also do love to work out the most. Why? I mean, why do we have the same metabolism level? Simply because she's doing a lot more than me. So there is nothing magical, it's just science, right? Now, over 40, the truth is that, again, this is Coach Dory, that she's gonna come in and talk. And what I wanted to show you that even scientifically based, all these dots shows that, the biggest difference you can make with this NEAT, with this movement part, okay? So if there is anything that you have to do more, is move more, but with context. Right now, most of you, or most in general, you're watching a replay, you're watching this video, have this thing going on over 40, simply because you did not understand what's going on contextually speaking. Meaning, like, you do a diet, then you hit a plateau, you try to crash diet more, then you binge back. And as you can see here, every time you binge, you put back on more kilogram of fat as well, right? So you do a diet, you lose weight, you eat more because you cannot sustain it, and then you eat it, right? So you started with 70 kilo, kind of lean, 21%, and then you end up with 70 kilo, kind of fat. Because every single time you diet, this is kind of the problem that we're encountering, right? So the first step, it's understanding that weight and body composition is 2 different things. How many of you did stop a program or deemed something not working because you said, I lose the weight, but then I gain it back? Just type inside the chat. How many times have you done that inside your mind? How many times have you said, I'm not successful, even if it makes sense what I'm doing, just because I don't feel like I'm losing any weight? Just type inside, because I'm pretty positive that at least once you did it, right? And if that's so, then that's the first problem, because we need to understand that, yeah, great. So more than once, right? So we need to understand that it is not really about losing the weight as much as it is about losing the fat, changing your body composition, right? And I'm trying to find the thing that I wanted to show you here. And again, this lady here, Valentina, when she started, she did pretty much the same weight, but one shows clearly more tone, less water retention. She just said the cellulitis was gone. And again, it's like, even she went from 22% to 17%. Now, it was pretty simple what we did with her, you know, a couple of meal planning. And again, this is kind of like the crazy part. Most of you think that there is one thing that you need to do. You're kind of like a tweak away. And I think I said it yesterday. It's like, if you think you're a tweak away, what are you doing in this challenge? Because it's as simple as just trying a few different things. And I think that you should be fine, right? You know, chances are you're not a tweak away. It's a lot more complicated, right? And yesterday I gave this thing, this guide, and I'm gonna paste it as you come back here again for one last time in case that you have not been able to access it before. And this show you what's really happening with the metabolism. What are the step-by-step things that we're gonna need to do, right? And the person that's gonna win this challenge is the one that is actually gonna do this. The problem is that, again, why diet don't work for you or for people that struggle with this is because 2,200 calorie right now with a 500 calorie deficit will be the same 2,200 calorie in 6 months from now, in which you're not going to lose weight anymore because your body adapts. And again, you'll see here why, right? It adapts because of bad sleep, all these cravings that comes that Lamis just said, because you don't moving 10,000 steps a day is not as easy as moving, like, in other words, like if you move 5,000 today and if you move 5,000 in 6 months from now, you're no longer going to lose weight. This is why I say it's useless for you to do 6-time workouts a week. Just do it later. Right now, it might be useful to do it less, right? And again, it's as simple as that. We're going to need to find your calorie need here, right? So I'm going to show you what to do it here. And then I'm going to post something later tonight or early tomorrow. And I'm going to tag everybody. And you're going to need to take this calculation, put a screenshot, and post on a thread. This is me, this is me, this is me. And you're going to have to tag me. And therefore, I can actually give you. The other person that is going to win is going to do this thing, pictures, front and side. And then you're going to take your screenshot and you are going to take your measurements, okay? Why do you need to do that? Let me open up the app and see what is going to be like on your hand as well. Well, simply because if you do that, then I can really, like, this is what coaching is really about. It's about measuring, doing an intervention, which can be a nutrition plus workout plus movement, and then measuring again. It's as simple as that. This is why not only a challenge of this magnitude is not nearly enough for anybody to get results, but this is also why, unless you already don't have results, it behooves you to actually finding something that makes sense and actually do it. Because it's like taking a puzzle and putting all the pieces together. There is always something missing. And sometimes if you're missing something, then a puzzle is simple. You just find a piece and you put it in there. If you just do keto, and then you go from keto to Herbalife, and then you keep running on 600 calorie for years, then your metabolism is messed up. And until you fix it, it takes months and months and months. And therefore, it's quite important to nail it once right away. And again, like I said it yesterday, it doesn't have to be us, but it has to be something, because if it was so easy to just get the results, then you would have figured it out already. And again, it's quite important to get that. And I promise you, it's going to get easier, more simple to understand. Right now, I'm opening up the app. This is basically what you're getting if you're taking this challenge for the next 20 days. And I made a test sample, right? And this is basically what it's going to look on my hand, but where you're going to have to post the things in here, right? So you're gonna have to post, if you have anything, I'm gonna send you this thing, and if you have Apple Watch or Fitbit or something, I'm gonna ask you to connect these things. And as you connect it, if you do connect it, then what it's gonna look like, I'm gonna see your pictures in here. I'll see your measurements. And again, when it comes to measurements, it's simple because we said it, right? There is two things that makes sense to. Actually, there is a few things that make sense to measure. Number one, which is very less important, is the one thing that you guys make more important is weight. Okay, so weight it needs to be done in a median. You guys don't know what a median is. It's like and this is in pounds, but it's the same thing in kilograms. You have to think like 73, 69, 67, 60, 70. If you do it this way, guess what? Sunday you feel good because you're losing. Monday you feel good. And then when Wednesday comes around, you feel bad because you feel like something is going on. But it's not really going on anything. It's just like you need to take the median. You cancel the lower number and the higher number. And then you take for the week, the median. If every week you improve, chances are the weight, which is only a trend, you are going to be successful with, meaning like you're actually going towards the right thing, right? And again, I'm gonna shoot a bunch of links in here. And again, if you have an iPhone, you can use this. I'm suggesting you use it. You don't have to necessarily for the sake of the challenge. But remember, whoever is gonna win this is the one person that does the most. Happy scale. And again, I don't want to overwhelm you, meaning like if you can do it the math by hand, just do the math. If you like this is much helpful because it's just an app that shows you the trend. Okay. I'll throw it inside the chat. And I'm also doing this on purpose. So you go back and watch this replay again, because I want, like, it's always not about learning more. It's about learning the things that make sense and doing it too many times. So for those of you that say, I don't have time, please go somewhere else. Just find something that is easy. Meaning like, because if the easy part was just getting Herbalife or downloading a PDF of let me hit 1500 calorie of keto diet, again, that's if that's the cup of tea you want to go, like, be my guest. This is like the easy part is what I'm giving you now. And again, weight is only one thing. The second thing that makes more sense for you to be familiar with, and this is what's going to determine whether or not you're getting results, it's really these three measurements over here, right? Actually, it's going to be, you can actually see this replay. I'm not going to share the link because otherwise it's really going to make it complicated. You take in the neck, you take in the hip, and you take in the waist with a tape measurement, okay? And I will put a video about it, okay? And then you take this thing again. You take this thing again in 10 days. You take this thing again in 20 days, okay? So I'm put a note here, video about measurements, right? And again, like I said, the third thing is simple. It's simply the pictures. So pictures, measurements, which are the two very important things every 10 days. And then the weight, you can take it on every day or every bi-daily. And then you make a median every week, really understanding whether you are improving or getting worse. And this is basically the first thing that needs to happen. You measure. How many times have you done a diet without measuring anything? And then maybe you measure today and you measure next Monday the weight and you haven't lost anything and you say that it's not working. Potentially could have been working. Now, this is the next thing that we need to actually do, right? The TDEE, okay? The TDEE. So basically, we need to calculate your metabolism. And again, I'll share this because again, this is something you're gonna have to do. So just go TDEE calculator. Let me just paste it to you. And again, you're gonna have still this inside a post, but if you wanna be proactive and already doing the work, you're gonna save this thing right here. And you're gonna do the same procedure I'm doing here at the moment. And we're gonna find this. Anybody wanna be a volunteer, please unmute yourself. Let's make this fun. Volunteer yourself that if you volunteer yourself, you're also gonna make sure the calculation is actually correct.
Yes,
because I'll make it for you. Who is it?
Nadia.
Nadia, yes, all right. So how old are you, Nadia?
40, next month's 41. So I don't know. It's about a few weeks, but 40.
Let's make it like this, just in case. Last time you weighed yourself?
69.
69. Height?
165.
165, okay.
Office job, correct?
Let me see if we are imperial. Is that correct? Yeah, okay, that was correct. Okay, there. How many times do you work out?
Twice, and you can put the wait, take 1 to, no, wait, per week, right?
Yeah.
Light exercise, exactly. Put light exercise and 28 for the fat.
How do you know?
Because I went to my gym, they have like a balance. So I make like a checkup.
Okay, well,
It's approximate. I mean, it's approximate, but I have something, right? I mean,
those things we'll talk maybe in another video is a little bit skewed. I mean, the only thing that the BAA makes sense is the one that you're laying down. Is this the one that you took?
no.
Okay, so let's just for the sake of showing you exactly, because again, a lot of you will go to detail. It's much easier to find it. Again, we won't do it today, maybe in the Q&A next week, because really otherwise you're gonna be overwhelmed. I promise you it's gonna be simple. But let's find it like this, right? You 1800, right? Like this is basically your theoretical maintenance, okay? Let's pretend that you are 28%.
Yeah.
It's give you more. So if this wasn't true, you're already giving up 200 calorie, just to show you, yeah? All right? Meaning like if you went on your maintenance right now, and if it wasn't 28%,
yeah,
already overeating 200 calories. So for the sake of this test, let's make it like this, okay? And again, I'm gonna have you do it again. Let's pretend is this, your basal is this, and if you were to, in fact, work out the way it is, like you would be eating 1800 calorie, right? Now, if you hate that, and for the sake of the exercise itself, in 1 week from now, I put you on a 1800 calorie, you're supposed to not gain any weight or not lose it. You're supposed to be like that. That's what normally is supposed to happen. The reality that there are gonna be some hyper responder in which you are gonna do that, right? And you will, in fact, lose weight. Probably because 20 or 25% of what you said is probably correct. Okay, so you basically I don't know if you can see that, but you're under reading already, yeah? Now, for some people, if your metabolism is really messed up, you would gain weight. Does that make sense to you?
It's getting like I get knots in my brain. And so you would gain weight if what you say? If the metabolism.
1800 calorie right now for you.
Yeah.
It's what in perfect world, what needs to happen for you to not gain or lose any weight is your maintenance.
Yes.
Without doing anything aside from eating those things and not working out more than 1 or twice a week. Yeah. You're gonna see that the perfect world is not really perfect. It's like some people like hit that, right? And you lose weight because of compensation, like you just said. Maybe you have more muscle than you think, right? That this calculation can tell you. Or if you've been dieting for a lifetime, which you're not apparently, you might be one of those that in fact, you hit 1800 calorie, and even though that calculation says that, you'll gain weight. Therefore, you indeed need to taper up those calories. So it's a game, when we're talking about rehabbing the metabolism, and this is what I wanted you guys to understand, it's a game of really optimizing results, meaning like whatever you read, whatever you calculate, you need to test and you need to be really sure that in fact, this is what's happening. Are you guys with me? Are you with me? What I'm saying? You're not, are you?
No, not 100%.
Exactly. Because again, it's not as simple as a game as saying maybe it's clear to you now why if you now put this, we're gonna put your app inside, we're gonna give you a protocol to follow, and next week you need to let me know how it goes, right? And based on that, you can then say, okay, this is successful or this is not. So this is why simply catering to any sort of nutrition randomly, it's hard because again, that was supposed to be the perfect world, but it's not only about weight and it's also not only about eating a certain amount of things, but it's about doing something over time. Now, the first thing guys gonna have to do is take that calculation and post it. Wait for my homework post, okay? There's gonna be an homework post and then you guys do that as a thread. And from there, I'm gonna basically use that number and I'm gonna basically put that thing in the app and I'm gonna show you basically what you're getting, okay? Now, moving on, because this is only the first thing. First, we need to get your energy level based on how many times you wanna work out, based on your post about your pictures, post pictures and measurements. Okay. Now, I would do the post of the measurements first in the same, I mean, not first, but more or less the same time that you do the TDE inside a group. If you want me to actually give you something that makes sense, because otherwise I can still give you according to your calorie, but the more you do, the best thing you will get in return. This lady that she will come and talk is the lady that she won the challenge the first time, Dori, that she ended up becoming a assistant coach. She wasn't looking like that before. She had like she had many more kilos, and she just lost it. And as you can see, like when you actually do the work for 2 or 3 months, this is basically what you can expect. Now, simple as that. So let's pretend that you're eating, I'm gonna use again Nadia for an example. 1800 calories, basically what you think. Now, the next step, and here is where it becomes easier, is that it's really about understanding how can you make sure that you're eating those 1800 calories. It's about calorie. It's not about macros. It's not about making it difficult. It's not about something being good or bad food. It's not about anything like that. It's about, can you go to McDonald's, eat 1200 calories and lose weight? You can. I know it's anti-industry what I'm telling you, but that's exactly what you can do. In fact, I'll tell you one better. Some people got more results doing that than just eating everything organic, everything like that. And again, simple. Why? Let me just share you why. Let me just show you why, actually. This is our old Execute Fitness. We've been changing lives for a few years now. This is our whole thing. This is why, in fact, you're not losing weight. Because tracking food like just fried egg versus regular egg, frappuccino versus iced Americano and all that stuff. I mean, this is just like, this is US, but you can find everywhere in the world the same thing. 16 calorie versus, it's all a calorie game. You guys don't just realize the difference. It's just difficult to do that. Can you eat potato fries? I mean, if you're a person that can eat potato fries rather than popcorn, and you prefer to eat this many potato fries and in less than this many popcorn, you can make it happen. There is nothing wrong with it. In fact, the only thing that there is a difference is that if you are menopausal, like you have menopausal or you have insulin resistant, yeah, there are different individual differences. And again, it's about the skill which your trainer or coach will tell you kind of what to do with. I can tell you, if you're menopausal, taking away carbohydrates is not a good idea, probably for 98% of people. If you are insulin resistant, probably the timing and the meal content in the food, mixing fat and carbs together and protein is probably a good idea. So it's timing. It's a lot more timing wise. But if you're healthy and you can't stick to anything, chances are jumping into the next diet is not going to make any sense. It's about, can you make something sustainable for yourself? So we're going to count, like, you don't need to count. It's like really two school of thoughts. Number one, you track food with something like MyFitnessPal, and you like simplistically, you just track. We have barcode that I can give you, like there is going to be a post coming up this week. Do you want 15 high protein and whatever recipes? Yeah, you have to answer yes. You're going to get a PDF. You track this thing, right? Or it's simply about looking, about some people would benefit more from something like meal planning, like something like this, versus just you would like, again, this very individual differences. And look at that, weight loss versus weight gain. I mean, technically, yes, but because of the calories, 680 calories versus 325 calories. It's like that simple as that. It's not about that the chicken is bad or the rice is bad or because there is a little bit more of lemon over here that is going to boost your metabolic. Like, it's nothing like that. It's just like, this is why people cannot lose weight, actually. It's like too many complicated, right? So what happens in the app is simple. This protocol will be pretty much the same system for everybody. If you want more one-on-one undivided attention, you know, we give that option yesterday. There might be another option later down the line, but simplistically speaking, it's like you should be fine with pretty much with that. We're gonna use Coach Dory for an example. Let's see, or if we can. I need to see somebody that has this this thing over here, the meal plan. Yeah, there you go. Let's use this one. Once we find, and again, once we find your protocol, based on whatever you're gonna tell me, I'm gonna develop meal plans for you. Something like this, in which you're gonna have, you can see the videos here and you can just do that. And based on if you're vegan, vegetarian, pescatarian, whatever, like these things make sense. Or if you're a person that's gonna tell me I eat 5 times a week, a day versus 3 times, it makes sense for me to not give you 5 recipes. If you only eat 3, right? If you rather just track food and eat whatever you want, you can also do that. It's simple as that. We will see how it goes inside the challenge. But it's as simple as that, guys. Now, why is hard? Let me ask you this. Why do you think it's hard for most people? Why is hard, even though you know what to do, why is hard to do it? Come on, guys. I still want to go and have dinner later. Strength, okay, the habits, fantastic, right? That's one big thing. Come on, somebody else want to take a guess? Why is hard? Why do diet fail actually? Like, because they're unsustainable, we said, but why is it unsustainable? This is gonna be mind-blowing for you, some of you. But like, why do you think it's miscalculating? Yes, correct, Claudia. This is one of the biggest one. We just saw it. Miscalculating is the problem. Discipline. For me, that I'm doing this for now the best part of 30 years, almost maybe like 25. But I'm still, and I was an emotional eater. I share my story several times. I see a donut, and it's very hard for me to say no to the donut. So what do we have to do? Is understand why we eat. And again, yes, true, we don't exactly how much we're eating. Yeah, and exactly, sometimes you say, I'm really eating this much, and then I'm not eating. Like, meaning like you miscalculating, that's true. Indulging in the weekend, that's big, exactly. You're very good during the week, and then you are very not good during the weekend. We'll get to that. But basically, and a lot of you nailed the point, it's for this. And I'm going to use only this example, but this is one of the many examples. It's like, it's just a cookie. I'm just going to have this. You know, one cookie today, which is just 150 calories, is going to equivalent to the week and the month to 3,000 calorie or 10 cheeseburgers, which basically is half of a kilo or 1 kilo of fat for most part. And of course, that's a problem. There is nothing bad on the cheeseburger. I love my cheeseburgers, but it's because we need to understand why we eat and why we eat. There is 2 things why we're eating, right? Why we struggle with the hunger. It's because of compensation of the body. Somebody said it before, cravings, hunger. After 40 is worse. Menopause is worse. When you are stressed is worse. When you have 2 pregnancies, worse. We eat for satisfaction, for fullness, and we eat for taste. What happens if you make the diet boring? What happens if you're very satisfied? Oh yeah, I'm gonna hit. I love this advice, by the way. I mean, this advice, it makes me crack up all the time. You go on YouTube, it's like the best advice for losing weight. Eat more protein, drink more water, walk a little bit, get more fat, get more fiber. Who the fuck eat that? Are you eating protein or are you eating food? Are you eating protein or are you eating meals? Are you eating protein or are you eating, like, it's of course, that's exactly what you need to hear. But the problem is that you don't know how to apply it. So you need somehow to make this feasible for you. Because when you go to work in the morning, it's very hard to just eat protein or just eat a protein shake. Because, I mean, if that was so simple, you just went and just did Herbalife or something like that, you'll be successful, right? And I need somebody to get muted. Let me see. Ooh, please do mute yourself. I promise you I'll give you the option to ask question at the end. But another thing why diet fail is because you cannot sustain it, because you cannot cook the same thing for you and your family, because you don't know what to do when you're at work, when you are traveling. This is kind of why it's difficult, right? And again, we need to make this thing. Please, guys, check if you're muted and mute yourself because somebody's not. And it's very hard for me to operate like that. Okay, there you go. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. So we need to make this thing feasible. So we hit for fullness and we hit for taste. What happens if you hit just for fullness? You eat broccoli and rice. Diet is boring. You're gonna tend to binge, and then you're gonna gain weight. What happens if you just eat ice cream and donuts all the time? You're gonna gain weight. But what happens if you were able to get something satisfied with volume, and then you make it tasty? AKA, you take this rice over here and you fill it with vegetable and you cook it with marsala in a way that you can make it tasty. And by the way, this looks like a big meal. It's like 80 grams of carb, 80 grams of rice, but it's really the bulk. You're eating a bunch of mushroom, you're eating a bunch of zucchini that is gonna make it feel tasty, like it's not like a diet. What happens if you, instead of use peanut butter, you just use peanut powder, you made it up with milk or almond milk or whatever you like. You made it up feel like a peanut butter, but with 80% less of the calorie. What would happen would be that you can make a crespel like that with xylitol, or you can, whatever you can include, and you make it taste well. The trick is not feel like you're in a diet. The trick is being in a calorie deficit, not feel like you're in a diet. So what I wanted to do for you, if you are in our major group, you can basically access, in addition to the app, if you're in this challenge as well, you can access to this, which is basically our main library inside our main group, which I'm gonna share now, that you access not only the recipe I use, but the recipe a lot of clients posted, right? Chocolate muffins, right? And look at this. Like, you can literally eat this every single day, and you're never gonna feel like you're in a diet. And it does take a little bit to charge, but this is how I just made it. We're probably gonna eat tonight, this thing. How can you make this food taste well and you're automatically in a calorie deficit? And again, this is just, you can use whatever muffin you wanna be using. I think I posted today about this. I wanna show you my favorite. How can you eat pizza and not eat 2,000 calories in one sitting? Well, it's simply by, let me see if I can find it. In fact, I think I posted in my profile. This is kind of like, there is this recipes in there as well. There you go. This is literally one of my thing. Whenever I feel like having pizza, I'm having this because it tastes more or less the same like a pizza, and you're eating 600 calories at the best, at the most, versus 2,000, 1,500, whatever. And it's simple. Why is so low the calorie? Not because of the ham, not because of the mozzarella. You can use light if you want, but it's the freaking toast. It's like one toast piece is like 60 calories versus the whole bread, the pizza is like 1,500. So if you just the brain and you just say, okay, let's make it like, and you can still have that. Like, I literally have people telling me, no, you're crazy. You cannot eat that and you're gonna gain weight. No, it's like, are you serious? Let's test it. I had this test for 3 days. The person lost weight. Is like, how did you do? You're a magician. I never thought it was possible. I mean, why? It's just science. It's as simple as that. All right. That is the next piece. And again, we'll still have a little bit to go, but in one way, you need to then, and again, we're gonna touch on workouts today. What I can say, and I'm gonna get deeper into a workout video that I'm gonna post, but I need to touch on it because you will see this question inside the workouts. There is two things that are gonna make a difference into ladies over 40. One, you need to work out with weights, whether it's weight in the house, whether it's weight or machines at the gym, whether it's TRX that you can just, suspension training or something like this. Whatever works better for you, you're gonna answer inside the form, and I'm going to basically give you the best protocol possible for the next 20 days based on your ability, okay? Based on your time. Again, it needs to be sustainable. We're gonna start with 2-3 times a week, and then we're gonna progress based on what you wanna do. Another thing that is gonna move the needle is the movement. So 5,000 steps, and I'm gonna ask conceptually, How much are you working out? Sorry, how much are you moving? We're gonna make this one of the anchors. How many steps? If you're doing 15,000 steps and you're not losing weight and you're doing every day, chances are you need to do less, even if it doesn't make sense to you. Don't think about why it makes no sense. Just do less. I'm telling you, it's good. That going on the science is gonna just make you overwhelmed. If you're on a couch potato, chances are you just move a little bit more. You don't need to get to 10,000 steps, or otherwise you're gonna fail like myself, which I'd never do it. But then you just go from 2,000 to 3,000, from 3,000 to 4,000. We're gonna make this one of the anchors every week, next week. You're gonna see it this week, but you're gonna choose whether or not this is the anchor. Simple as that. How do you know if it's working? Super simple. You measure again. In 10 days from now, you're gonna measure. We're gonna measure all together in 10 days from now. And one thing that you also gonna is also gonna tell you if it's okay, because this is kind of like the big problem with a lot of people. They lose weight, they lose measurement, they look much better, but they cannot sustain it. Why? Because there is biomarkers, which is like energy levels, sleep and stress, cravings and hunger. We just said it right now. And then there is the mood swings and all that kind of stuff. If these things are okay, and you'll see that again, keep reading that book that I just gave you yesterday. If those things are okay, and you're losing weight and you're losing measurements, you're good for now. I want this to be clear, like you're good for now, meaning like you are improving, okay? If you're losing weight, but the biomarker are bad, okay, we need to make the biomarker better. If your biomarkers are good, but you're not losing any weight, then we just need to stick to it for a little bit longer and find some modification. Before we go into the Q&A, I just want to ask you another question, right? Because again, yesterday we said this is why we're going to make this scene different. How many of you now, and you can comment down below, understand why unless you are already doing really, really well for yourself, it is not easy to figure this out? How many understand that you're not a tweak away? Because again, feel free to just do this challenge and go on your own. But I'm telling you, I wish it was that easy to give you a meal plan and just make you go. But I hope today you understand the complexity. And trust me, if you thought it was complex today, you have to think like 10 times worse. We didn't go into, all the chemical parts and everything. But I just basically tell you today that it's really not about the thing that you feel is happening, meaning like all the compensation and everything. Most of the time it's wrong strategy and less consistency. So let's make you consistent for the next month, and let's see if the consistency is really the problem. Okay. Now, thank you for the engagement. Okay. Now it's the time for you to ask any question or anything. Please just go by show hands first, like there is a hand raise over here, and then you can unmute yourself and we can get going. Anybody has any question about anything? Hopefully this was interesting, or like again, you can ask any question about anything. No one? I mean, should be easy for the clients, but I don't know about the new people in the challenge. You guys are doing really well. We can get going. We are fine. Because again, now it's knuckle up time. Now it's like, are there any links for today? Yes. So again, by the way, so here, any link, the link that you're gonna need the most, Lynette, if you have an iPhone, is this for the weight. I rather you just use this rather than just and the TDE link, yes, that's I'm gonna post that, but in case that you just wanna do it now, I'm just posting on everyone in the meeting. And this is basically the TDE link, and this is the epi scale. For the most part, really do follow every single post you have. And again, yeah, the other thing that you might need, especially if you're not a client, is this thing over here. It's the form that you have to fill out by tomorrow so that I can give you the app. And anytime tomorrow, you're going to receive an email from the Rising Fit Pro. And that's basically going to tell you to make an account with them, which is free, which basically is where you're going to get the meal plans, where you're going to get the workouts and so forth. And then, of course, by the time you move around, like you move on, then it's going to be pretty intuitive. Happy Scale is great and easy. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And not the problem is that not everybody has an iPhone, which I know, but Apple is not paying me for saying this, but I don't know how you guys can do without an iPhone. But whoever don't, it's hard because a lot of things you don't have in there. Meaning like all this, they made it for Apple product only. But anyway, hopefully this was interesting. Again, if you have, yes, Nadia, please feel free to unmute and ask. If you guys have any question, please do so now because it's hard sometimes to then I'll do my best to be very cooperative throughout the whole challenge, but these places are really to have question to be answered. And also next week we're gonna have a Q&A in which we're only gonna talk about Q&A, and hopefully we can invite Jennifer or Dori or some of my ex-clients to give a testimonial about something, sharing their story. But please, Nadia, ask anything you need.
Yeah, just to be sure. So you will now post in the group the steps we need to take, right? To make like the actions to take, correct?
Yes, correct. I will make pretty much in any post this week for the teaching. I will make it stupid simple because in the past I just made it like either too difficult or I just said do this, but then the people wouldn't know where to find. So even if you're already a client or whatever, like you already have the access to the website, I'll still post the links just because I want to make it simple what to do. And also that the person is gonna do more. I really want somebody to win the prize. So therefore, like remember, you doing thing in the Trainerize app is one thing, but if you also do it inside the group, it's gonna give you almost like more chance to win, because usually in every challenge that we do that is big, we have 2 or 3 people that are really transforming, meaning like are doing everything together, and they're also like transforming on top of it. And then it's like it's really my call based on the interest, based on the feedback. Like, for example, you are so far like if you did all the work like that, you're a pretty good candidate to win. Just because like I see that you're interacting, you hear all the time, you're printing out the things, like all those things make a little bit of a difference, right? But again, it's just like about, I feel like the biggest reward for all you guys is gonna be just doing the work for the sake of you actually getting some results. So yeah, you'll get every single step to take. So the next thing I'm gonna post about the TDEE and first post. Then tomorrow, there's still gonna be some videos coming up, but the next big thing you guys gonna have to do is probably choosing your anchors, meaning like, are you gonna be drinking more water? Are you gonna be drinking more? Are you gonna just eat more protein? And to an extent, if you choose your anchor, and I'm also gonna give you some advice. I'm gonna use an example. I think for you that you took, I don't know if it was you or like somebody that took the metabolic quiz, which we might take at the end of the challenge, and it comes down that you don't drink enough water. Guess what would be the anchor that you choose? Probably water. But there's gonna be a lot of people, oh no, I cannot drink water. I just rather eat more protein. I'm gonna say, hey, drink more water, because guess what? Probably it's gonna fix your metabolism. And again, just take the anchors based on the logic. Like if you know you're not eating enough protein, just eat enough protein. Anybody else needs any question or anything clarified? Should the happy scale okay, happy scale is great. Okay, should happy scale would be no, Lami. So it's like happy scale is a tool. If you rather just calculate your median weight here inside like I said, like if you're a person that just like to do the work like this, you're just gonna weigh yourself every day or every other day, and then you're gonna cancel out the highest and the lower number, and you're gonna be left with what is a median, right? So every single week you take in the median. But I can tell you this much, like weight, it's really not weight is really not a metric that is important. It's more so like the measurement. Can I link the Garmin watch? Good questions. I don't know. Meaning, like sometimes I do send that connection with the Apple Watch, and some people can link the Fitbit and the Garmin as well. You're gonna have to test based on what you have, but I think you can. Claudia said you can. Yeah. So it means like a lot of other people, because Trainerize. That's what I love about that third-party app, is that it's an app that is always evolving. Any product in the world that you buy, that you keep evolving every year, like iPhone, like Garmin, like something. I mean, those are, in my opinion, the good products, because one time that everybody look, and this is also should give you a hint how to see life. Is like when you look for perfection, you're never really getting anywhere, but imperfection is the key. Like you just need to do something today, and then we're gonna improve next month and then next year and so forth. Was this helpful? I hope I delivered on what I promised. My big thing this challenge was really delivering what I said I was gonna do. For those of you that applied for the free coaching yesterday and yet didn't book a call or we didn't talk, please do that very soon, because I wanna still be able to honor that for you. And then I'm gonna see you in the next Zoom call together as a group. I'm not sure when it's gonna be, probably next week. But again, I'm gonna tag everybody inside the challenge, and let's make this challenge really a life change for you. Do the more. Don't just look at other people doing the work and you don't do. Just do the best you can. And again, with this being said, welcome again to the challenge. And if you need anything from me, we're gonna get in touch very soon. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.